There is a place called Engebe in the Kubuqi Desert of Inner Mongolia, 600 kilometers away from Beijing. This place will feel strange to many Chinese people because it is not a frequently mentioned tourist attraction, nor is it a prosperous city. In the past, living conditions here were extremely harsh due to the huge sandstorms and sparse vegetation. Some people even called it a cancer on the earth. So 30 years ago, nearly 300,000 acres of land in Ngebe was barren, with almost no one paying attention. But Ngebe today has changed. If you come here now, you will see green trees and it has become a beautiful desert oasis. But this desert miracle originated from an old Japanese man, because in the past 14 years, he led more than 7,000 Japanese volunteers to plant 3 million trees here, which made the miracle appear before our eyes. You may be curious, why would a Japanese old man think of planting trees in the desert of China? So in today's video, we'll delve into the old man's motivations and how he led his team to change the land bit by bit. If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. China was once one of the countries with the most severe desertification in the world. In 1949, China's desertified land accounted for 1/3 of the country's total area. Especially in Inner Mongolia, China, the desert area is as high as 1.18 million square kilometers, which is almost the combined area of 2 German countries. Severe desertification has led to frequent outbreaks of sandstorms, and the sky is often obscured by sand and dust. Not only have countless livestock and people disappeared, but crops have also suffered great damage. Residents living in areas close to deserts face great difficulties. Water resources are increasingly depleted. Outdoor visibility is often less than 100 meters when sandstorms strike, and air quality drops to serious pollution levels. According to statistics, direct economic losses caused by land desertification are as high as $7.4 billion every year. What is even more worrying is that sandstorms in northern China not only have a serious impact on the domestic environment and life, but also spread to neighboring countries such as North Korea and South Korea, becoming a transnational environmental issue that attracts attention. Faced with the increasingly serious desertification problem, the Chinese government officially launched the work of preventing and controlling desertification as early as the early 1950s. Up to now, 41 comprehensive demonstration zones for desertification prevention and control have been established across the country. Through the combination of scientific research and practice, we have in-depth explored ways to control various desert ecosystems. At the same time, the Chinese government has also established 26 desert ecosystem positioning and observation stations and 13 sandstorm ground monitoring stations, forming a comprehensive desert positioning and observation system and a standardized system for desertification prevention and control. According to statistics, China has completed the construction of 20.33 million hectares of desert oases and protected 26.58 million acres of desertified land through the implementation of closure measures. More than half of the country's controllable desertification land has been effectively controlled, making China the country with the largest afforestation area in the world. It is worth mentioning that in the process of China's desertification control, many neighboring countries have also actively participated in this important global task. Among them, the participation of countries such as South Korea, Japan, and Mongolia is particularly prominent. These countries have been deeply affected by China's sandstorms and are therefore willing to face this cross-border ecological challenge together. As early as 2007, South Korea participated in China's desertification control mission and provided $1 million in assistance for China's afforestation projects, planting a total of about 4 million trees. Likewise, Japan has made significant contributions to combating desertification. A Japanese old man organized 7,000 volunteers, established a greening group in China, and planted about 3 million trees in China's desert areas for 14 years. So, why would a Japanese old man be willing to plant trees in the desert of China? As far as I know, this old man from Japan is named Madaka Yamasan. He came to China in 1935 to study, mainly studying farming culture and plant morphology. While living in China, he witnessed firsthand the ecological conditions of the Loess Plateau and the vast barren desert. Facing the desolate scene of this land, as an agricultural scholar, he had a wish in his heart. He hoped to change this situation through efforts and save the local residents from the ravages of the desert. So Madaka Yamasan purchased a piece of sand in the Kubuki desert and planned to use it as a research base to explore how to transform the desert environment into an agricultural ecological oasis. However, Japan launched a full-scale war of aggression against China in 1937. This sudden war completely disrupted his plans. Madaka Yamasan had no choice but to return to Japan and taught at Tottori University while working on the agricultural development of Japan's coastal sandy lands. By 1972, Sino-Japanese relations gradually eased, which provided an opportunity for Madaka Yamasan to realize his dream for many years. In 1979, he came to China again and joined the China Western Region Academic Survey Team, which went to Gansu, Ningxia, Qinghai, Inner Mongolia, and other areas along the Silk Road to conduct on-site inspections of the current status of desert areas. Madaka Yamasan felt very anxious after witnessing the degradation of vegetation and the transformation of grasslands into desert. Therefore, he and the Chinese Academy of Sciences jointly formulated a cooperation plan and decided to carry out desert control operations in the Ngebe Desert in Inner Mongolia. However, the natural conditions of the Kubuki Desert are extremely harsh, with an average annual rainfall of only 250 millimeters and daytime temperatures as high as more than 40 degrees Celsius. This extreme climate brings huge challenges to desert control work. But in order to change the status quo of desertification in China, Madaka Yamasan did not choose to compromise and give up. After he returned to Japan, he immediately established the Desert Greening Practice Association and sold all his property. He has been traveling to Japanese TV stations, universities, and various societies for a long time, actively promoting the importance of desertification control and sparing no effort to raise funds for desertification control. In the end, inspired by Madaka Yamasan, more than 7,000 volunteers responded to the call and chose to follow him to China to devote themselves to this magnificent desert control cause. Due to the unique geological environment of the Kubuki Desert, Madaka Yamasan had to adopt the most primitive tree planting method. In this desert hinterland, not only does it lack sufficient water sources, but plants also face raging wind and sand every day. Toyama Meisei knows that planting trees in the desert is no easy task. With his extensive knowledge in the field of agriculture, he strictly controlled every planting detail. First of all, due to the extreme lack of water resources in the desert, in order to effectively conserve water, he decided to dig the pits for planting trees to a depth of 80 centimeters to ensure that water can penetrate deeper into the soil. At the same time, in order to prevent the sand in the pit from flowing, he carried out special treatments, such as laying an anti-seepage membrane at the bottom of the pit and using sand-fixing materials to ensure that water can be stored stably and maintain the moisture and survival rate of the saplings. When irrigating saplings, since there are no natural water sources in the desert, Madaka Yamasan and his team of volunteers can only carry buckets of water from a distance and pour the precious water on each newly planted sapling by hand. In order to improve irrigation efficiency, they also designed a simple drip irrigation system to maximize the use of every drop of water and ensure that the new saplings can thrive. Despite facing such a difficult and complex environment, Madaka Yamasan has always maintained perseverance. He never complained and kept working 10 hours a day. Finally, after more than 10 years of unremitting efforts, the plant's survival rate in the Kubuki Desert increased from the initial 20% to 80%. This effort has completely changed the desolate appearance of the Kubuki Desert. 1 million trees stand proudly in this place that was once called the desert cancer, breathing life back into the place. Madaka Yamasan's persistence and dedication have transformed this land. The endless yellow sand in the past has now been replaced by a patch of green, becoming an achievement that local residents are proud of. The newly planted trees not only beautify the environment, but also significantly improve the local ecosystem, prevent soil erosion, increase precipitation, and even promote the restoration of biodiversity. This miraculous transformation not only brings hope and prosperity to residents in desert areas, but also allows more people to see the potential and possibility of desert greening. Despite such brilliant achievements, Madaka Yamasan still dares not slack off. The dedication of this Japanese agricultural expert has also successfully impressed the villagers around the Kubuki Desert, and everyone has joined his desert control team to contribute to the greening of this land. After years of hard work, they increased the number of trees from 1 million to 3 million by 2001. It is hard to imagine that 30 years ago, this place was still a place where wind and sand were raging. 30 years later, it has become a tree-lined place, and nearly 100,000 acres of yellow sand has turned into an oasis. The Kubuki Desert has transformed from a barren land into an ecological oasis. All this is inseparable from the unremitting efforts of Yuanshan Zhengying and his team. In fact, in addition to the Kubuki Desert, China has also achieved remarkable results in the management of the Muas Desert. The yellow sand that used to fly all over the sky here has now turned into a lush oasis. Data show that China's artificial forest area reached 787,000 square kilometers in 2014, and this number will increase to 3.6 million hectares by 2021. These achievements are the result of years of unremitting efforts by the Chinese people, who have planted approximately 66 billion trees during this period. These efforts of China have been widely recognized around the world, and some countries have even called China a tree-planting maniac. In fact, China is planting trees not only to improve the ecological environment, but also to see the economic potential brought by greening. So what do you think? To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.